Mama told me when I was young, sit beside me,
my only son.
my
All right.
only son. Listen close.
Hey, how you doing today? What happened to Grigor there?
I'm here.
Grigor's with you.
Okay, hey Grigor.
I'm
how you-
here. All right, I'm here.
Well, go ahead. We had a little technical error there. Let's start the program now. Go.
All right. Well, welcome to WTAN. We're in the backyard. The fire's lit, and we're here with Robbie the Shark, and it's all groovy.
Thank you, Grigor, for the introduction. Strange day today, man, but it's really groovy. Really, really groovy. I saw my psych yesterday, and he is actually using me as a case model for some of these vets that gone through the problems I went through. I don't know why I'm talking about this, but that just came to my mind. Wanted to mention it. That you can make it, man. It took me 10 years, but it finally happened. By the grace of God and the help that the VA does have out there for you. So all my Pinellas County friends, man, I know you can get angry at Bay Pines, but don't. They're there. You can find the right psych, and I'll tell you what, things can happen for you. Anyways, let me get on with where I really wanted to start. I can't believe this one. I don't know about you, Grigor, but Colorado takes Trump off the ballot. I don't care if you like Trump, hate Trump. This is ridiculous. For the 14th Amendment, something has never been used, and it was supposed to be used against having Confederates come back in. And
Well,
go ahead.
they can't use it because he hasn't been convicted of that.
Amen.
It's totally political, and everybody in the country knows it, and they don't care.
So do you think the people are going to, what happens is I saw this, what was it? I think it was like 15 states. Now this is going to go to Supreme Court, obviously. And you're absolutely correct. This is unconstitutional. They're trying to use the 14th Amendment. And in the 14th Amendment, after the Civil War, the majority was Democrats, and let's get it straight. Democrats were the South. Okay. Republicans were the North. And the Democrats had a majority in both houses. And they were definitely insurrectionists because they were in the war. This guy's guilty of nothing as of yet. I haven't even seen anything that I think could possibly implicate him, to be honest with you. He told people to go ahead and peacefully protest.
For them to use it, he would have to have been prosecuted while he was being impeached, but he was found innocent of all that bull crap.
Oh, we all know that was garbage.
They would have had to impeach him for this during his tenure, and he wasn't. He wasn't found guilty of anything. So it's a total fraud.
Absolutely. It's just to manipulate people. And then they're talking out there. I've seen this garbage too, that which is interesting because the devil always has to tell the truth. And they say when Trump, if he gets elected again, I mean, they want him not elected so bad they're taking him off ballots. But they want him not elected so bad. And they say, well, if he becomes president, he's going to be a dictator. He's going to do this, that, and the other thing with his executive privilege. Well, what is the dope in there now doing? And Obama did. And they're talking about he's going to take over your entire world and life. This is what the Dems are doing. They're trying to control you. It's ridiculous.
That's what they always do. They project. They accuse you of the things that they're guilty of. They've been doing it for years, and they continue to do it.
You are absolutely right. I'm so glad I have you here to talk to tonight, Griegar. You're one of my favorites of all time. Um, saving that for Aaron when she comes in. I want to talk to you a little bit about the football now. Let's get away from the politics. You know what I mean? Kick back.
Okay, for 1 minute though, see, it's not going to matter because the appeals to the Supreme Court, it's not going to matter. By the time all that happens, his name will already be off the ballot. This thing is going to happen, and it's going to get ugly.
Would you see a wild write-in ballot? And even with mail-in ballots, you can still write in. You don't have to pick what they have on there. There is a spot for write-in.
Well,
Do you think that'll happen?
That's one of the things. That's one of the things with Colorado. You're not allowed to write in.
Oh, really?
On their ballot.
I did not know that. Oh my Lord! So, and if they win this in the Supreme Court, these other 15 states follow through. I don't know. It's looking ugly, like almost to a civil war type deal.
There's not enough time. They're going to start printing the ballots without his name. By the time the Supreme Court takes it up and everything, it'll be too late. The ballots will already be printed, and he will not be included.
Wow.
And then there's an argument about the Republican Party and the Democrat Party being private institutions, and the government can't tell them how to run their businesses. So, it's going to get real ugly. This is just the beginning.
It's very scary.
Very scary. So, on that note, I'll let up and.
No. This is a great conversation with you, man. I'm digging it. This is really groovy, brother. You brought to mind some things I wasn't aware of. We know my brain is a little scattered. That's what makes me fun to sit around with. So it don't matter. But wow, I get so much information from people out there. I don't know how they find it on the internet. So much garbage is going on behind the scenes. It's scary. It really is scary. But I think the truth always wins. So some way or another, this is going to happen. It's going to turn out good in the end. But I think you're right. We are going to hurt a little bit here. It's going to get a little ugly. And
I think it'll get worse before it gets better. We're in for a real ugly year in 2024.
And they're talking about pushing Biden out of there, too. That's not happening. He's an AI. Anyways, I digress. He is definitely an AI. I don't care. It's phony. No, that's for Aaron. That's one thing I wanted to bring the attention to Pinellas County people. It's kind of groovy in a way, but I think really rotten. What's happening here, January 2nd, the go-karts on your bus line are no longer accepted. I don't know if you're aware what a go-kart is, but it's you pay $5 and you can ride the bus as many times as you want during the, 6 a.m. till midnight, whatever. That's the only time the buses run. But as much as you want. For disabled, it's $250. And as much as you want. One fare is $125 to one bus, $250. For me, and most veterans have to actually take two buses to get to the VA. Okay, so you're going to kick out the $250, because that takes you there and back. Boom, $2.50 rather than $1.25 each ride, which comes to $5. So you're getting beat. And what the government wants to do now, of course, we know they want us to go cashless. And what they've done is, guess what? They told us last month that the veterans get to ride the bus free forever now. Any veteran, not even disabled, just veteran. I'm like, wow, that's groovy. And then I found out riding the bus this month. This was November. I found out about the freebies around Veterans Day. And no, you have to get rid of your Go card. They won't accept it anymore. And you have to buy a Flamingo, they call it, or use a debit card or a phone something or other. And I guess there's wristwatches that are computers now. I wasn't aware of that. My friend Aaron got one. I didn't know about that. And that's the way they want you to pay, completely cashless. So I'm going to wind up going to jail on this one because when January 2nd comes, I'm going to the VA. I'm not going to have that stuff. They said you got to pay cash money, period, and it's only good for one trip. So that's going to cost me $5 instead of $2.50. And darned if I'm going to pay that. You're forcing me to make a choice: pay the extra money or fall into line with the Democrats.
Well.
And
there's two things at play. There's two things at play here: corporate greed and government failure and corruption. And when you have corporations working with the government, that's what you get: evil.
You kind of call that fascism, don't they?
Yeah, well, that would make our government a dictatorship. The thing that they keep accusing Republicans of.
You know, history does repeat itself. It's almost like 1933, except for we have cell phones now.
Yeah, well, they've been doing that too, rewriting history for the last 30 years.
This is very true. But anyway, I'm going to get back to that, the bus thing there. I lost my train of thought for a minute thinking about the darn government. I don't like them.
It's horrible.
It is. And that's what they're doing. They're trying to force us, okay, lose money or capitulate. And if you capitulate, it's free. You make money. It's free to use our system now. Ooh, la, la. Look at that. We did good for you. But and how do I get that bus pass? Do you know I have to travel all the way downtown Clearwater or the other way downtown St. Pete, which is 2 buses, to go get the pass and apply for it? I don't believe you can even apply online. I tried doing some research today, and they don't give any information except for the card's no good no more. Come January 2nd, if you got one, I think you can get money back for it by the 15th or whatever, you know, because they buy their 30-day cards, and sometimes you buy it in the middle of the month. And it's not like up there in Pittsburgh where you get November card. The day you first day you use it, that starts the 30 days. And so you have till like the 15th of January to return it, to get your money back and then get on their cashless society system.
Well, this is just another example where our government has failed our veterans. All you should need is a vet ID. You get on, and that's the end of that.
Well, that's what I'm going to try to do because although I need to go back, I haven't been in a VA since, oh, dear God, it's been 3 or 4 months now. I need to get there because I lost my ID on the airplane. And but on the Florida IDs, I don't know if it's like up there in any other states, but Florida with driver's license, state ID. I just have state ID. I don't drive anymore. But it got a star in there, and it says that you're a veteran. And that's what I'm going to show that bus driver. If it's free, if I have the darn card, I'm not putting in $1.25 for the cheap fare. Here's my card. I'm paying nothing. And if he tries to throw me off the bus, you know what? Call the cops. I'm not getting off. I'm going to fight this one. We should not have to do that. I'm going to put up a big fight. It got to stop. Government control is out of hand, way out of hand.
The government has failed the vets over and over and over again, and they continue to do it with their schemes. I hate to harp on it, but the corruption in our government is so thick. I don't know if it is savable. But we're going to try.
Yeah, that's all we can do is try our best. Be civil if we can. I don't know. I'm a little worried, but here with the Pinellas County thing, I can fight that. I'm a regular citizen. I'm a veteran. I can fight it, and I'm going to get other veterans to fight with me too. And if nothing else, to bring it to the public's attention, what's happening, I'm willing to go to jail for it. So we'll see what happens with that. That should be entertaining coming soon. I don't care to laugh at me. That's the idea. Laugh as much as we can. And don't forget, that's something I wanted to talk about.
Just remember, being a Republican or supporting Republicans will put you in jail long. It's not like it used to be civil disobedience. You get a ticket, they send you home, you pay the fine. Well, not anymore. The police force in the state, they work politically now. And if you support the wrong people, you may be there for a while.
Yep. Just like January 6th. I mean, back to what we started with our former President Trump. He's guilty of nothing. And you got guys going to prison for 3 years and nobody's been convicted or even charged with insurrection.
No, you got people that are still being held. It goes back to something that Obama passed during his tenure. There was something about terrorism and being able to override the normal rules. I'm not exactly sure what the bill was, but he passed something during his tenure that gives them the ability, it's almost like war powers.
Exactly, and that's what it is, because it's considered a national emergency. And COVID, that too, a national emergency, so he can make his edicts, and that makes him a dictator.
Well, that's when this all went down. It's like an extension of the Patriot Act.
Yes, it is. That's exactly what it is.
Which was horrible.
Yes, it was. It seemed good at the time and reasonable. But anything, if you give the government an inch, they'll take them out.
Well, anytime you trade security for your freedom, you will lose your freedom.
Very true. And expertly put. Wow. Gregor, man, you know what? You need to call me more often. I miss you, my brother. Wow, fascinating. I know you knew your stuff, but I didn't know you knew that much. Another thing I'd like to do with politics, since we are on a subject, they talk about draining the swamp. Let's start all over, and every House member and senator, you will finish out the next 2 years, and then there will be an election to replace every one of you. Every one of you. And start all over again. And put term limits on both of them.
Well, that's what this Trump situation is all about. If we lose this thing, we don't get a chance to course correct. The fascists take over, and you'll eat what they serve, or you'll go to jail too.
I don't care. I've been there before. It ain't that bad, except for just like here, I can't smoke.
But that's what this whole thing is about. That's why they're trying so hard to get rid of it, because this guy was giving you freedoms that our government don't think you deserve.
And that's a shame. That really is a shame. Wow, it really is a shame. And since we're talking about a little government crap here, I want to switch over to global warming. Global warming. Did you know that we had one of the largest solar flare in the history of us tracking it? I think it happened in November, or maybe a little sooner than that. Don't test me on the dates, but it was within the last year. I think that was, that was what's neat about it. It affected our magnetosphere, affected the moon, and it caused some kind of dust storm on Mars. This was the flare. They said you could fit 50 of our Earths inside of this flare, how big it was. But you know what? That's because of us using that darn fossil fuels. We cause the sun to burp like that.
Well, the study that they used, going back to Al Gore, with the polar bear floating on the ice, in that whole study, they didn't include the single most important thing in our weather, and that was the sun and its solar cycles. That was not a part of their study. The other problem there was a professor at Penn State. Name was Michael Mann.
Wow.
he fraudulently fudged the numbers to give Al Gore the hockey stick graph, and our government and our schools forced our children to watch that movie, and they all believe it. And now it's too late. They forced that in the schools. Every class had to watch this movie, An Inconvenient Truth, which turned out to be a total fraud and fudged by this guy, Michael Mann. So global warming is, it's a joke. Climates change. That's what they do. When I was growing up, we were going to have a nuclear winter because of smog blocking out the sun. And when that failed to happen, they changed the global warming because it's secular. And we were in a warming period, right? And then when that failed to happen, they just changed the term to climate change.
That way you could blame it on getting cold and getting warm. They just keep adjusting the words to fit their narrative. Like they say, moving the goalpost, changing the line, right. Just a bunch of darned liars. Bunch of liars. It's bad. But
if the goal is what they say is to lower carbon emissions and carbon dioxide. Well, that's what plants and trees live off. So what is an acceptable number? If you get rid of all the carbon emissions, all the plants will die and we won't be here anyway.
Exactly.
So it's all about political control and power. It has nothing to do with the weather outside your building.
No, it doesn't. It has definitely everything to do with control. You're absolutely right, Grigor. But you know what? It's just about time for Robbie to take his medication.
All right.
Smoke them if you got them. I'll be back in a few seconds. We're going to talk a little bit of sports when we come back. And I have a great Christmas story that a friend of mine shared with me. That's really beautiful. She said it's been around for years. I never heard it before. It really is a beautiful thing. So we're going to go take a little medication here, and we'll be back after a short break.
Everybody knows they're smoking it loud. Taking out the heart, making sure the coast clear. Looking in the stars, now there ain't no money here. My buddy says, big town, to get caught will surely be the death of us all. Smoking in the boys' room. I know we're smoking in the boys' room. And teaching on the building. Up with the rule, everybody knows they're smoking it loud. Hey, can I be excused? Everybody knows and smoking loud. Everybody smoking in the boys. Smoking in the boys. I tell you, I'm smoking in the boys. Smoking in the boys. Hey, treat you don't feel me. Up in the room. 'Cause everybody knows and smoking loud. One more. Smoking in the boys. Smoking in the boys. Now, teacher, I'm pulling around with your fool. Everybody knows that smoking ain't allowed in school.
Oh, hey, how you doing there? Welcome back, everybody. Sorry, I got lost for a minute looking for my Christmas story that I'm going to get to in a little bit. Hey, but let's talk a little bit about football and what's been going on. I don't know if you've seen this. Pickett. Let's talk about the Steelers first. The Pickett not making a block. And you know why he said he wasn't making that block? It wasn't worth risking injury. It wasn't worth risking injury. What's going on in the NFL? 2 out of the last 3 games in Kansas City, players intentionally missed Mahomes. One coming down the line, flying like a bat out of heck, and absolutely missed him. Because if he hit him, it would probably been a penalty for roughing. Then the blocker, did I say this last hour? Okay, this was just in my head an hour ago, so it was really bothering me. And then the guy leans to his left. There's a blocker running up alongside of Mahomes in the same play, running up the sideline, and Mahomes is just on the inside. Here comes defender. Defender, instead of going to his right to make the tackle, leans left, and you can view this, and you can look it up. I believe it was a Denver game, and he leans to his left and goes into the blocker intentionally, missing Mahomes. And then Mahomes keeps running, and when he finally does get hit, the defensive player fell down like I ain't never seen anything in a WWF. I mean, it was obviously he fell intentionally, which allowed Holmes to get the first down. I don't know. I'm getting really disgusted here. It has to be scripted, man. I'm sorry. We're going to do top 3 to beat the bookie later, but anything I tell you on my stats this year, I would bet against me. It'll probably do you much better. Sorry for laughing at myself, but I have to. When I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
I was going to say, you got to be able to laugh at yourself once in a while, and we've been waiting for this for a little while. She's been very patiently on hold.
Oh, groovy.
Erin's on the phone line. Erin, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
If you want to, darling, you got your report. Go ahead.
All right. Colorado takes Trump off the ballot. And humanity still exists when a 15-year-old Riverview High School student sees a woman being carjacked and thrown to the ground. While onlookers stand by, he took action and subdued the attacker until law enforcement arrived. It's currently 61 degrees with winds out of the northeast at 4 miles per hour to 54 at wake up. But Santa Claus is coming to town when the temps rise to 75 degrees through Christmas Day. Then the cold returns. This is Erin Biscuit with Robbie's Island News. It's all groovy.
Yes, it is, baby. Thank you very much for the report. And Robbie, not only did Erin give an excellent report, but Grigor is still on the line, and I think he wants to get in on the football talk. What do you think, Grigor?
I'll go right ahead, bro.
Well, the NFL is doing everything they can to eliminate violence from the sport. Well, football is a very violent game. There's proposed fines of 25% of your salary if you get kicked out of a game over a violent ruling. And so the players are trying to adjust their play to meet these rules and not lose the money. So, like, if you smash a player egregiously, the league's going to fine you 25%.
That's
Now, if you're a
huge.
big making guy, you're making big money, that's no big deal. But if you're one of these average guys, that could be $125,000, $200,000, and maybe you're only pulling down $1 million a year. That's a big chunk.
Certainly is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's before taxes. So you're still going to get taxed on that. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
so it's the NFL's rules trying to be this different game. It's a violent game, and that's why we watch.
That is exactly, and I talking about that the Mel Blunt rule. That ruined everything. Smacked that receiver all the way downfield. That made it exciting, and I think less dangerous. Actually, the players going across the middle, they won't do that no more like they do now, and that's because you can control that over the middle. It's easy. They designed that specifically for what's his name? There it goes. I found it. For Brady. The Brady dink and dunk, dink and dunk, dink and dunk. And that's what the NFL does now. They finally got it to where it's a highly offensive game because people find that exciting. I don't know about you, but the Steelers' first Super Bowl, wow, that was like the lowest scoring Super Bowl ever. That's exciting to me anyways. But everybody wants to see these high flying, and they're out there cheating right now. Things are, I mean, Greek, I can't explain it. 15 years. And you can look it up, 72% correction rate. And cousin there, he told me, he said, Robbie, if you were betting, you're $1,800 in the hole this year. That's bad, man. That is really bad. I can't figure it out. However,
you can't break records every year, dude.
No. I mean, you got to have one every now and then. But I'm figuring things out. They changed the rules on me. Okay. They moved the goal line. They changed the rules on me, and that's fine. But what it's about now is ratings. Okay. It's all about ratings with Tay. And remember that little kid that was dressed up as the Indian blackface, redface? And they said it was a racist thing he did. The Chiefs kid. Then they finally did show the Viking kid. There's a Viking kid that goes every game dressed up, but that's not racist. And apparently this weekend at the Chiefs game, this kid is going to be, the Chiefs do their stupid drum. I hate it, but it's groovy. That's what they do. So I don't like it. That's fine. But then like boom, boom, boom. And, they do the stupid arrowhead shake thing, and but this kid is going to lead it. So that's kind of groovy. But the NFL has become, they want a sideshow. And like with Tay, I don't care. They brought in a lot of viewers with that. Especially, this is where it was smart. When I owned the beer distributor, the guy said, anybody comes in to buy beer with their kids, you give the kids a free bag of chips. I said, well, why would I want to do that? He said, because when they're old enough to drink, it's where they're coming to buy their beer.
You're darn right.
McDonald's and a Happy Meal. It's long been proven. So now if they bring these young girls into it, Pittsburgh girls already love football. But the rest of the nation, wake them girls up to football. That's the idea. And to make some money off of it, because it is always come down straight to the money right now. And where it used to be really about winning everything. Man, I saw a thing on about Joe Green when he didn't want to come to Pittsburgh. He did not want to come, but then the attitude changed and the sport changed because he stuck with it. He didn't give up. And he actually did. He went to quit and came back and he talked to the Roonies and he said, this is the way it's going to be. Boom, and went down and the whole thing changed. And that's why the Steelers have no cheerleaders, because our cheerleaders are chicks in the stand or chicks sitting next to us at the bar or on the couch watching the game with us, That's where the real gig is. And so it's kind of good for the NFL with that. But this scripting really got to go away. It's getting ugly. But what
they're becoming the WWF.
I think it's almost as bad, although they pulled off a lot better. And like Pickens was saying, and I don't like Pickens, he's afraid to get hurt. Because they're sent. And what was that other one? That player that just got ejected. Matt, you know who that was. He got ejected for the rest of the season with a low hit, head-to-head. And the
I
he's
don't
complaining
remember his
too.
name,
You're going for a clean hit. And even Brady got on it and said, you put your receiver in that position where he's got to dive down, where he might take a head-to-head hit. Quarterbacks need to take some responsibility, but they're protected because of the high-priced money spent on
DeMonte
them.
Kazi's the name you're looking for.
Kazi?
Yep.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
the direct head-to-head hit on Michael Pittman. In the game between the Colts and the Steelers.
And if they played the game the way they used to,
it cost Kazi 25%.
Yeah. Well, this dude is done. He ain't even allowed to play playoffs. He's done for the season. And if they should make it to the playoffs, he ain't even allowed to play there.
He got a fine too.
Yeah. And
that's what I mean. They're trying to make the sport safe. And because these guys don't want to get hurt, jeopardize their careers. And I get all that. And a lot of that is part of the players' union.
Exactly.
Negotiating these deals. But it's a violent sport. There's not a single team on that field any Sunday that could compete in the 1970s.
Amen.
That was a true violence.
Well, I don't know about Mr. Watt. I think Mr. Watt could do it.
TJ
no, that's
probably.
A single player. I said a team.
No, but he said
a
team.
Single player.
But there's no team I agree with Grigor. There's no team in the NFL now that'd be able to compete with like the Purple People Eaters, the Steel Curtain,
the Dallas Cowgirls.
Yeah.
No. And what was it called? The Los Angeles Rams, the Fearsome Foursome.
Yep. The sack exchange with my Jets.
Yeah. I mean, that was when football was played the way it was supposed to. I don't want to sound like an old guy.
Oh, and I got one more for you.
Yeah.
Da Bears. The 85 Bears.
Yeah.
The 85 Bears.
Da Bears.
Da Bears.
That's one of the reasons I hate them. But I really don't.
Oakland Raiders. The Oakland Raiders with the snake. You always got an extra elbow after the tap. That was unnecessary roughness. It should have been called. I get that. But what they're doing today is, totally opposite of what the sport used to be.
That's why I'm going to get back furthermore into hockey. I'm going to go back to being a bigger NHL fan than I've been over the past few years.
Difference between hockey and football is a contact sport. Hockey's a collision sport.
Ooh, would you look at it as collision?
Yeah.
Because hockey, there's no guarantee you're going to get hit on every play. Hockey, you just collide into people. Football, there's collisions happening there's contact on every single play. Hockey, there's no guarantee of it.
That's interesting.
Right,
I never thought of it that way. Fascinating. I really never thought of it that way.
But also in hockey, they let the players settle it out whenever there's something going on. If the guy's jabbing you too much, they let them settle it.
If there's an argument, you fight for 5 minutes, you fight, you go sit in the penalty box for 5 minutes, then you resume play.
Exactly.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Granted, hockey's changed with fighting a lot between the 80s and the 90s and now. So, yeah.
Yeah, hockey has changed a lot.
Now that he's getting you guys can't see this if you're listening on radio. Robbie's got his Santa hat on, and I know he's been wanting to tell this story since he got here. So you have a Christmas story for us, Robbie.
Yes, I do.
Let's get into it. Let's go.
One I think is really, really fabulous. Melissa McLaren Devonick from I think they're living somewhere in West Mifflin area up there. Very great people. She brought this to my attention, and I just want to thank her for that. Son says, I'm going to play as part of son and dad here, okay? Dad, I think I'm old enough now. Is there a Santa Claus? And Dad says, okay, I agree that you're old enough. But before I tell you, I have a question for you. You see, the truth is a dangerous gift. Once you know something, you can't unknow it. Once you know the truth about Santa Claus, you will never again understand and relate to him as you do now. So my question is, are you sure, son? You want to know? Yeah, Dad, tell me. Okay, I'll tell you. Yes, there is a Santa Claus. Really? Yes, really. But he's not an old man with a beard and a red suit. That's just what we tell kids. You see, kids are too young to understand the true nature of Santa Claus. So we explain to them in the way that they can understand. The truth about Santa Claus is that he's not a person at all. He's an idea. Think of all those presents Santa gave you over the years. I actually bought those myself. I watched you open them. Did it bother me that you didn't thank me? Of course not. In fact, it gave me really pleasure. You see, Santa Claus is the idea of giving for the sake of giving. Giving for the sake of giving, without thought of thanks or acknowledgement. When I saw that woman collapse on the subway last week and called for help, I knew that she'd never know it was me that summoned the ambulance. I was being Santa Claus when I did that. Son says, oh. So now that you know you're part of it, you have to be Santa Claus too now. That means you can never tell a young kid the secret. You have to help select Santa presents for them. And most importantly, you have to look for opportunities to help people. You got it. Help each other this Christmas and be kind. May the spirit of the Lord Jesus Christ and Santa Claus be with all yous forever. Whew. That took a little bit out of me there. We're going to do top 3 to beat the bookie. And I think call it a night. Let me get this here, man. What games we got coming up? Get that out of my way. Wow, that took a lot out of me. I don't know about you, but when I read that story, it just, I cried. I cried because that's what it really is, helping each other out all year long. It's not just Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, the 2 months after Halloween. You know, it could be every day, just a little bit. Let them in your heart, and let's go from there. All right. Yeah, I'm going to do it. We're going to go with top 3 to beat the bookie with your host, the one and only Robbie the Shark. Hey, all right. We talked about my record earlier. We don't need to go with that right now. It's been bad. So we're just going to let it roll. Cincinnati at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's getting 2. We know how I feel about the Steelers. But I'm looking at it from the NFL standpoint, and it would behoove them to allow the Steelers to win because it jams up that division and makes the following week's games worth watching. So that is really why I'm picking the Steelers. The +2, these plus points mean nothing right now. This is the run for the playoffs and run for the primetime games. Let's face it. And the Steelers draw big primetime. That's why they've already been, 4 times this season, I think. Crazy year. And not doing good like they normally do. So that's why I'm going to go with it. I usually don't tell you folks why I'm picking a team, but that is why. I want you to know that. Indianapolis at Atlanta, the Dirty Birds. Dirty Birds need this one big to stay in the hunt with the Buccaneers. They're given one. I'm going with Atlanta. And next one, Jacksonville, Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, they're given a point. And Baker Mayfield has been fantastic, man. I had some faith in the beginning there, started to lull on them. This guy's got it together. Look for Tampa Bay to make a big run down the stretch and maybe even in the playoffs. So I'd go with them. The Christmas Day games, I don't even care. Vegas is getting 10, Giants getting 12, Baltimore 5. Who cares? It's Christmas Day. Sit back and enjoy. It's going to be a beautiful 75 degrees down here. I think I might hit the beach. But anyways, to finish it out properly for Cousin Egg, definitely this is the pick of Robbie the Shark. Top 3, Pittsburgh +2, Atlanta -1, Tampa -1. And yeah, I know I got some time left, but you know what? I am really worn out today. I was sick all day. And I'm going to let you go with some Christmas music that are fantastic executive producers going to provide here for the end of the program. I want to thank you all very much. Merry Christmas. And yeah, I'll sit here. Maybe I'll sing along.
suki